I'm going to show you how to fix one of the biggest problems with calisthenics training, which is struggling to use progressive overload properly. For those who aren't familiar with the term, progressive overload means gradually increasing the difficulty of your training so that you continue to get better and better, and without doing this properly, you actually end up plateauing and stop progressing. The tricky part about this with calisthenics is that progressively overloading properly is best done with small, measurable, and consistent steps. This is super easy if you're at the gym on the chest press machine, because as long as your range of motion is the same, the only real thing that will influence how hard the exercise is the weight that you're pushing, which you have perfect easy control over by just moving a pin up or down or taking the plate on or off the bar. When it comes to bodyweight exercises though, how hard an exercise is can change massively based on things like body position, hand width, core engagement, foot position, and kipping. On top of this, if you want to progress an exercise to actually get stronger and not just be able to continuously add more reps of the same old push-up or pull-up, you can't just add an extra kilo of weight to the bar, you have to make the exercise variation harder, but ideally only by a little bit and in a way that you can control enough to be able to come back the next session and reproduce the exact same or slightly higher difficulty again. So like this video and I'll show you how I get complete, accurate control over my favorite bodyweight exercises and their progressions. For almost all exercises, doing full range of motion is going to be best most of the time because it's a lot easier to know what full range of motion feels like than knowing if the partial range that you're doing is exactly the same or slightly harder than the partial range that you did last time. As well as this, keeping a braced core, usually in a hollow body position for any core challenging exercises like push-ups, ring work, and planche progressions will make sure that you keep the exercise load and range more consistent. If you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I highly recommend sticking to low to moderate rep ranges, like 5 to 10s, so once you're doing more than around 12 push-ups, it's time to make things harder. You can start progressing to archer push-ups, but instead of going straight to full arches, measure out your hand width and open up a bit more than you usually would for normal push-ups, then try half arches at this width, making sure to always come down with your loaded arm pulled in as close to your body as possible. Then when you want to progress after a few sessions, you simply increase your hand width by a couple of inches. Another variation is the pseudo planche push-ups, where you can gradually lean forward more and more to make it harder. For this, start with your feet against the wall and measure the distance from the wall to the base of your hand so that you can control the exact amount of lean every single time. For pull-ups and chin-ups, unless you're already doing 5 or 6 or more per set, having a set of bands is amazing to give you some progression steps. Archer pull-ups are great as you get more advanced, measuring and progressively increasing your hand width and pulling your loaded arm closer to your body, just like the archer push-ups. Once you get past these, one-arm pulls with band assistance are great, as long as you make sure to grab the band in the exact same spot each time and pull as hard as you can with both arms on each rep so that the assistance is always consistent. For ring work, 2 things matter most here, which is the ring height and foot position. The easiest way to deal with ring height is to get ring straps that have measurements marked out so that you can always keep a consistent height from workout to workout. But if you don't have these, referencing the height to a marking on the supporting post or on your own body can work too. For foot position, you can measure the distance of your feet from the supporting posts, or even better, create some markings on the ground or something that you can lay on the ground in the same spot each time. Controlled training means controlled progress, so try some of these out and you'll be amazed at how much more easily you can improve when you can reliably advance step by step.